I have your attention, please. The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Hey everyone, it's another Tuesday night, so of course, I'm back here again. So let me introduce you to me. My name is Patrice Grimble, and I am SC Bookgal 843, and welcome to SC Bookgal and Friends Chat. So we are winding down Poetry Month, you guys, and it has been nothing less but awesome. Again, I get to introduce you guys from somebody from my neck of the woods. I have to say, you guys, I've been working for the library for 20 years. I have lived in Charleston in all my life, but I did not know we had so much talent here in Charleston. I'm not even going to say Charleston, in South Carolina, okay? So last week or the week before last, I had the Geechee poet, okay? He's from right around the corner down the street. Now I am bringing up author D.L. Mack Jr. He's from around the corner down the street and through the woods, okay? But his work is beautiful, you guys. We were talking earlier about his poetry work, and he even got a show coming up. So y'all need to be ready to go see him, okay? But I would like to present to you guys author D.L. Mack Jr. Come on up, come on up.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you for being here. So, before we go any farther, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I'm a poet, an author, husband, father. 32 years old. Been writing since 2008. And just loving every minute of it. I've published 3 books and continue to. I'm going to continue to publish every year.
Oh, so you challenge yourself just to publish a book every year?
Yes.
Okay. I like that. I like that. So you have 3 books, and we're gonna put up on the screen in a moment your latest book, Yellow Flowers Are for the Living. Tell us a little bit about this collection of poetry.
Okay. So this collection of poetry, actually started February of last year. I was actually getting known from my poet friends to write every day. And I got a little bored because I was like, okay, I'm writing, but I want something new to write about, something challenging. So I got on TikTok and said, hey, um, does anyone have something that they can't express or, get out that they want, a situation they want to touch on and put it in the poetry? I'll do it for you. So people, suggested things, and I was like, okay, I'm going to call this project For the People. And I was like, nah, that's a little too on the nose. So I started writing and writing and writing, and I realized a lot of people were asking me to write about grief and loss and unrequited love and things like that. So I was like, why don't I call it Yellow Flowers Are for the Living to keep up with my theme that I have with colors of my past books. So and I was like, I thought about sunflowers. You give sunflowers to people who are living. You don't give sunflowers at a funeral. So that's where that came up.
Yes, you do have this beautiful theme that you have. You have one of your books we talked about earlier before the show, you guys. It has a color theme of black, and then you have the one with purple. So yeah, The purple one is I'm going to do the book review on because I just love the synopsis of the purple one.
Mhm.
What made colors become so important to you?
Um, because I think colors were an easy way to embody what I was talking about. Like black
Mm.
deals with a lot. Like when you think of black, you think of pain and sorrow. So my first book touches on like the sorrow that I may have faced in a relationship, the sorrow that we see in the black community and the challenges we face. Because I wrote that in a time of a lot of civil unrest. With a lot of the Black Lives Matter movement and things like that. So just embody all those things, and then talking about the last subject it talked about was your relationship with God and how sometimes that can be hard when you might lose your faith, or you may not pray like you should, or you just want to give up on life. Um, so I touched on that there, and then Pain and Purple was actually birthed from a situation that I was dealing with about 2 years ago, and what I did was I wrote about that situation, explaining how like men can be good guys, but then get scarred and then hurt the ones that they love, and if they're not careful, they can lose out on the very person that they really want to be with, and through those scars. When you understand who you are and how much love that you have to give and that you can love properly, you're painted purple, the color of royalty, because you understand your worth.
Oh! Did you just drop that one in there like that? You just dropped it.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm just drop this nugget right here. Y'all pick that up. Okay. Like I did not see that. That
Yeah.
little wow.
And see, the all my covers are shot or created by me. So I literally took um for the cover of Paint and Purple. You probably can't tell because it's so subtle, but I took like a piece of tile and painted like splatters of paint, and then took a picture of it, and that's the cover of the book, the front and the back. So
I see it. Yeah, that is creative. Like how important are your book covers to your poetry?
very, I mean, it's usually the last thing that I do, but it's very important because the cover is the first thing that people see. So
And
especially like with black, how it caught your attention, you was like that photo was powerful, and it's like, um, and I always try to use people around me to do my covers if possible, or just I always try to use my village to kind of come up with topics or ideas sometimes, and it really does help.
so that brings
But
me to another question. Your village.
so
How?
So my village is very very small. It's like a couple of people. I made a friend on TikTok about a couple of months ago. She's a part of my village now. She's also a singer. So I try to encourage other artists to be their best selves. So she's become a part of my village. My wife, and then my best friend are people I go to, like, hey, what do you think about this cover? What do you think about this? Do you like, if all of them like it but I hate it, we go with that because everybody else loved it. So obviously the masses are gonna love it, or people that see it are gonna love it.
I love that. The fact that you use your village. And I try to tell people, you don't have to have a huge village.
Hmm.
Like your village can be very simple, very small, but yet be so powerful
Yeah,
at the same time.
that is so true. Because I mean, it's good to have one because a lot of times as artists, we don't get the support we need,
Yeah.
and it brings people wonder why. Like my coworkers were I was telling them about my show, and I didn't tell my whole, like, everybody I work with about my show. And they're like, why you didn't tell so and so? I said, because I said, once I tell you about it and you only show a little bit of interest, or you say like, hey, I'm coming, and don't show up, I'm not gonna do it again. It's not to be mean, but it's to protect my mental health, you know, because I'm looking
Ooh,
for you to show up for me if you say you're gonna show up. Integrity is very important.
I never thought of it that way. I never thought of it that way. That speaks volumes. That speaks volumes. So, what made you want to step in the world of poetry?
It it all started like from a breakup, because you know they teach you poetry in school, but that's usually like for like a lesson or two, and then they move on. So I learned about poetry in like elementary school and middle school, but it wasn't a thing for me. And then one day, a girl broke my heart, and I just started writing. And I realized when I stopped writing, I'm like, this is a poem, and I would just write for whenever like I felt some type of way or whatever. And then it wasn't until people start noticing that I write poetry, and then I would read poetry for them, and they'd be like, "Oh wow, I felt that," or "I never read poetry before, but I like your poetry," and it's like it let me know that I can use this to help other people, to use my problems and my pain to let people know that they're not alone, that they feel valuable, which ties back again to my latest book, Yellow Flowers Are for the Living, giving people their flowers and letting them know, hey, I know you went through that, but you made it. Here's your flowers.
Now that's beautiful. That's beautiful. How would you want your poetry to be received? I understand that you want to give them their flowers, but is there any other reason why you want poetry to be you?
Be,
So many words?
because I see so many mediums that we as African Americans we run everything. We run everything in entertainment. We used to run poetry too, but we're in a place now where people that look like us are running. People who don't look like us are running poetry, and it never was like that. And I want to reclaim it back. Um, and also I want people to start feeling stuff again. And there's so much microwavable poetry now that it's sad. Like as a purist, that really loves the art form, really loves wordplay, and really making people feel something, and changing the atmosphere in a room just off your words alone, you can't. That feeling is unmatched.
So microwavable poetry. What is that? You really got me with that one. What is microwavable poetry?
Like very surface level, um, the very surface level type of poetry, like that sounds a lot more like a diary entry than actual poetry itself. Um, that's just my nitpick as a poet. I personally don't like that type of poetry, which I understand. Short, bite-sized poems are what get people through the door. Because I did like a series that was made popular, which is in English we say, and then I do like a version of what I said in poetry, and that's really what got me to go viral for the first time. So I understand the utility of it because it gets people in the door, but at the end of the day, I really want to write, work that makes you feel something, makes you like, oh wow, I can relate to this. He went through it, and he's smiling every day, so obviously I can get through this as well, you know.
Okay. I love that. And I'm thinking back in what you said that you would open your doors, the TikTok doors, put it like that,
Hmm.
to the audience and let them give you topics.
Hmm.
Were there any topics that was just like, oh my God, how am I going to approach this?
Um, yes, I think the only one I had like that had me like, oh my god, I'm gonna approach this, which I still wrote it pretty fast. Um, was someone asked me about trees, like write a poem about trees, and then I writing a poem about how uh trees reminded me I was coming home, to the south, because I would see all the trees, and then it reminded me of being under the shade of a tree, drinking hug juices and diet coke. Tell grandma told us to come inside for dinner. So like things like that. But yeah, I had a couple of them that stumped me for a little bit, but I usually got them done within either at the longest time it took me was about maybe a couple hours. I used to could write some of these pieces in like all of 5 to 10 minutes or so.
So, what is the craziest request did you receive?
Someone, I don't know if it was actually a request, but someone put in my comments. They were like they put um what was it? It was something like um being wrapped in an orange blanket while sitting under an orange moon. And it was another line that had to do with orange, and I was able to write a poem about that as well. And that's in Yellow Flowers for the Living. So
Okay. So some of the ones that you actually did on TikTok
yeah,
is
they
actually in.
because yeah, they made it into the book.
Now that is awesome.
Yeah, so basically most of the poems, if not all, were suggestions. I think maybe one or two poems actually came from me and something I wanted to put in the book, but everything else was somebody else's suggestion.
That is awesome. So, are you self-published or are you under a publishing house?
I am self-published. I have complete control, can do whatever I want to do, release when I want to release. Because the crazy thing was, um, I don't know if you noticed, but my book Yellow Flowers for the Living was supposed to come out on May 16th, but because of the crazy stuff going on with TikTok and I was having so much success with selling books on TikTok, I pushed it forward and said, "Hey, I'm gonna release it today because why not?" You know. And most people that are finding me are strangers, so it's not like I'm not really selling anything to family and friends because, like I said, family and friends don't really support you like that. They just see they know I do poetry, cool. Some might buy, some might not. So I'm not really worried about that. And then being a self-published author, I can release a book whenever I want to. I ain't gotta worry about, oh, this certain thing was scheduled this day. I can move the date around. I can move it forward. I just don't tell people dates before I'm finished. But yeah.
So, being a self-published author gives you that freedom to make
Hmm.
it work for you.
Yes.
And that's cool. I do see a lot of people go to self-publishing roles. Do you feel that it is difficult
It is.
or it
It is
is?
promoting. Well, I would just say promoting, and then like the editing process is difficult. That's something you need a team for. That's something that I'm currently with some of my books looking back at to see where I can fix it that are already out and maybe put another edition out of that book. But yeah, that's probably the most difficult part is like the editing and like the formatting. But mainly once the book is done, it's mainly just promoting yourself because I don't like to promote myself, but that's something I had to learn to do. And what I've learned and through these TikTok shop videos is just being authentic. Like even if I have self-doubt in my promotion, like I'll put self-doubt in my promotion and that's what helps. Like if I were to blow up, I'll sign this book, so if I blow up and people will tell me, "No, don't say that about yourself. Your art's worth it." But it helps.
I understand. I understand. So, what would you say to someone who is thinking about self publishing, but is like, how would you win them over to the world of self publishing? What would you say to that author?
I would say if you're serious about this poetry thing and you don't know where to start, and you have a body of work that you want to get out there, put it out. And the great thing about publishing in general is that book can sit without knowing about it for years. But as soon as you tell somebody, that's brand new to someone else. So and also your message is important. So put it out. And that's the quickest way to do it. You ain't got to worry about jumping through hoops trying to find a publishing company because from what I heard, publishing companies only take like one or two poets a year. You know,
Yes. They surely do. Poetry is not as extensive as it used to be. I can't even tell you about working. I might see about maybe one or two books,
Hmm.
three or four in a year that is solely poetry, not poetry in fiction or poetry in nonfiction, like
Hmm.
solely poetry. You don't see much because it's really become the underdog of the literary world. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, and I really do thank you for saying that you can put a book down and pick it back up years later and there's always a new book. I always tell everyone there's no such thing as an old book because not everyone has read every book. So it's
Exactly.
going to be a new book to somebody. So I love the fact that you said that. That makes so much sense. So, remember I told you when we were talking before the podcast that I have this special section that's called the fun questions?
Hmm. Hmm.
All righty. So here's the fun questions. Y'all know me. Y'all know I love music. Okay. And I love a good TV show. So I just saw 911 last week, y'all, and I cried. I
Hmm.
cried. Cried. So I would like to ask you if you can choose to write a medical poem, what TV medical team would read your poetry out loud? So we have 911, we have,
I'm not a big medical genre person. My wife watches them religiously. So I would have to
tell
say
you,
the Grey's Anatomy team, because
tell
that's
your
the one
wife,
I know the best.
tell your wife, we and her need to talk. I got to get her hook on the 911 so we can cry together. But why Greg's Anatomy?
Because that's a show that she binges like heavy. Like she can watch, like when a new season, if a new season were to drop, she'll go watch all the seasons until she gets up to the point of where the new season starts. So that's the one I just know like that. I really am not a big medical drama person. So yeah. And
That's a lot.
it does get, you know how like like someone else watching a show that you're not interested in it, you get interested in it after a while. So it's like, ooh, this is kind of interesting.
Okay. That's a ooh. So she loves Greg's Anatomy. So she'll go back and look at the previous season.
Hmm. She'll
I
go back and
tried.
watch all the previous seasons up until the new one. So she be in here for days watching.
Oh my God,
Yeah, they're like on
they're
season
like
like
20 something seasons of
yeah,
Greg
yeah,
Anatomy.
yeah, and she does
Oh,
it all day and
oh.
all night.
I got as far as the little doctor dude that got killed in the car accident who went off to
Oh
war.
yeah,
That's as
yeah,
far as I got. After that,
yeah.
it was just a little bit too much. so,
Hmm.
so here's another question. What is your favorite genre of music?
Hip hop.
You got a hip hop artist that is willing to read your poetry. Who would it be and why?
Hmm. I would say Wale.
Ooh,
Wale,
I haven't heard that
like
one.
yeah, Wale. He he was big in like the early 2010s. He kind of phased out of the mainstream, but he would actually do some poems in the beginning of his songs.
Okay,
So
okay.
he was always like a big influence for me. Just seeing a rapper do that, and I love hip hop and I love wordplay, so it was like that was like a match made in heaven. When it came to his music.
So I'm about to put you on the spot. See, you shouldn't have tell me that you go straight off the head.
I had a
So
feeling that was
before
coming.
you knew it was coming. I didn't even say anything. I don't even think you noticed my eyes got big, like, he go off the top of the head. So, what can you give us tonight before we close out?
Okay, give me two words. Give me a color and an object.
My favorite color is brown,
Okay.
and the object would be hair scarves.
Hair scarves. Okay.
Hmm.
So let's see. I ain't did this in a while, so bear with me. Hopefully I don't
Okay.
choke. Let's see. So brown hair scarves. When I see you, the first thing I notice is your hair and how it's wrapped like a crown. You wear it proud and you don't let nobody else tear you down because what you have is beautiful. The things that it can do, it can contort and shape in ways that you can never imagine. You have the hair that people dream of. So natural, the beautiful aesthetic, that brown mahogany that you just can't be denied. And I wonder if you could redefine the meaning of beauty with your lifestyle and the way that you live because you're a queen that can only be as beautiful as the crown placed on her head. And I wonder how profound that would be if people realize that nappy is actually beautiful, whether it's braids or some other protective style. And wow, I'm blown away because your beauty is more than natural. It's everything. It's eternal. It's the stuff that you write about in journals. Believe me that you're beautiful. And it's because of that crown that you place on your head as you tie your scarf at night and take a rest. That's what I
Okay.
got.
Okay, y'all. Y'all saw that straight off the dome. That's South Carolina bread. Y'all can't. Only we can do that down here in the South Carolina. In the South, Kakalaki. Awesome. I
Yes,
love it.
843
I love
stand
it.
up.
And you know what? I really do love it because I am doing a transitioning with my hair. I
Hmm.
have to let it grow out, you guys, to get my locks. I had locks started, but it wasn't too ready, so I have to grow my hair out. So y'all see me with a lot of headscarves. So tell us what adventures you have coming up so we can follow you on social media, maybe come out to one of your shows. Tell us what you got going on.
Okay, so as you guys know already, I have my book that was just released on April 9th, Yellow Flowers Are for the Living. That's on Amazon. Um, I am on social media, DL Mac Jr. You can Google it, or you can follow me on Facebook and YouTube at DL Mac Jr. and also on TikTok as Duffel Bag Poetry. I also sell my books on there. I do sign copies as well. Um, and yeah, I do have a show coming up called The Light Show with Mr. Enlightenment and Friends. That's on May 16th at 7 to 9 p.m. So if you ain't got nothing to do, come and check us out.
So, of course, y'all know we're going to have all that information. If you look at the bottom of your screen, you'll see all of the information scrolling. And I'll be sharing all the May 16th, give you guys information. That's in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina, correct?
Yes.
So we're going to cross the water. We're going to cross that little scary bridge. I, y'all, I do not like that off the Ravenel Bridge. Bring me back Ricky Ricky, whereas I know I'm getting across that. This bridge right here, it meant they did it too quickly for me. But Mr. Mack, I appreciate you coming on the show tonight, man. You
Oh,
just
no
don't
problem. It
know.
was fun. It was fun.
Thank you. How much nuggets of knowledge that you have dropped. I will be sharing the replay, you guys, in case you miss anything and y'all want to hear that the poetry about the brown scarf. Y'all know y'all need to go ahead and do it. But again, we thank you for being with us tonight. You guys, another Tuesday night, another new book, another new author. Y'all go grab Yellow Flowers Are for the Living. It is out now. Amazon has it. I will put the link on my Facebook page in about 10 minutes. Okay, you guys? I will catch you next week. Next month, we're dedicating to the mothers. Ladies, we're bringing it back because, in the honor of Mother's Day, we're going to bring it to the moms, okay? Or moms in training, aunties, just women in general. But always remember, no book is an old book because not everyone has read every book. You guys have a great night. Bye.
I have a good one.
You too.